All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Another weekend absolutely ruined by Chelsea Football Club, by Graham Potter, actually, specifically by Graham Potter. Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hell. A day later, and it's still baffling. It's still so baffling. How did we manage to lose against a bottom of the table, smack bang bottom of the table, Southampton? Manager-less Southampton. Wow. And the stuff that Graham Potter said post-match, and this is what I want to focus on for this particular stream. This is where I feel Graham Potter's really broken a lot of us. Of course, his gameplay hasn't been good, in-game management hasn't been good, and it hasn't been good for a little while, to be honest. Dortmund game seems like was an anomaly, to be honest. But yeah, it's the stuff that Graham Potter said post-match, which makes me think you must be delusional. Like, at least be real. At least try and somewhat connect to us, because at this moment you think we're idiots. You really do. At this moment, the stuff that you're saying post-match, you truly think fans are idiots. You seem to have no respect for them. At least come out and accept that you've screwed up. You clearly have screwed up. And the fact that you actually not only didn't accept that you've screwed up, you've instead gone the extra mile to say that you're not the problem. You believe you're not the problem. When we are on 2 out of 15, you best believe you're probably a huge part of the problem. It's quite sickening at the moment, because a lot of us were looking into the situation post the January window that, okay, our owners have given us a magnificent window, a window that is unprecedented, a window that is unheard of. No other football club, honestly, I can't recall have done a window like that. So we come out of that window thinking, do you know what? Just the individual quality itself should be good enough now to pick up more wins. No one's expecting every single match wins, but more wins. And then you throw in a little bit of your tactical genius from the manager, and that'll see us through for the rest of the season. And then we try again next season. How, with all of that money spent, Fulham, West Ham, Dortmund, and now Southampton. That's ridiculous. That is actually ridiculous. Did we even win after the January transfer window? Have we actually registered a victory after the January transfer window closed? Can someone confirm that with me? I think after the January transfer window it was Fulham, then it was West Ham, then it was Dortmund, and then it was Southampton. So I'm pretty certain we have not. Yeah, I can just see your comments now. No, we haven't. We have not won a single game after that window. That window. We've not picked up a win. Wow. And the fact that, Matt Law and there are other English journalists out there that's coming out and saying, Matt Law, I think it's Ben Jacobs as well. I think Adam Newson to a certain degree from Football London. They're like, the board's not moved. The board's not moved one bit. They still believe. They still believe in Graham Potter. Yesterday was a massive backward step. Massive. Like if some of us had that little belief, a little spark after the Dortmund game, thinking, do you know what, maybe we're just starting to, connect the dots. But yesterday was a massive backward step, and a lot to do with Graham Potter. A lot. The selection, the in-game management, the stuff that was happening during the match, players moving in different positions, different roles. I don't even know. At one stage, I was thinking, is Potter actually the one that's making this call, or the players just winging it at the moment? And now, so we've gone from Fulham, West Ham, Dortmund, Southampton, a stretch of games that you thought, do you know what, maybe 50% win rate out of the 4. Not even asking for heaps. 50% win. Now that we've screwed that up, and here comes the trouble now. And I know a lot of people will say that, Spurs are not in a good form, but on any given day, Spurs can slap up anyone. Us going to their stadium next weekend, I'm concerned, and that's a big match. That's a match, especially the match-going fans. You screw up on that match, which now seems like very probable, highly probable that we will potentially screw that up. If you can't beat Southampton, like Southampton is the base level. And not just that we couldn't beat Southampton because Southampton was playing negative football. No, Southampton played some proper football. They hustled us. And now you got Spurs. And then you've got Dortmund. Matters only going to get very tricky from here on in. Very tricky. Ites, thank you so much for this comment. My man Matisse made a good point yesterday that sacking him is impossible because FP for this season will cost about 70 to 80 million to sack all the staff. Look, it's 100% sticky position. They've made a mess. I'm sorry, the owners will have to hold their hands up for this. They've made a complete mess. And this mess is along with all the mess that they made last summer. Like that particular summer, I keep reiterating, that summer was a rookie window for them. And Graham Potter was part of that. You have a look at what we did in the January window, and that's when all these other individuals in the likes of Vivell, in the likes of Winston Lee and so many others. And this is why we had a very good January window. I'm pretty certain if those people were part of the summer window, we would have made a far better calculated decision. Graham Potter's appointment, I feel like it's a complete stuff up along with all the other stuff ups that we did last summer. I mean, okay, you want to give Graham Potter an opportunity, no problems. But the 5-year contract, you broke his contract, first of all, with Brighton for 22 million. I think one of the most expensive managers in world football that has been bought, like that money. It'll go down as one of the expensive managers to purchase. I read that somewhere. And then on top of that, 5-year contract with 12 million per year. So you've screwed yourself. Because you can't sack. Well, you can sack him, but you're going to incur such a loss. And this is probably why Graham Potter is saying the kind of stuff that he's saying post-match. He seems to be so relaxed. Let's have a look at some of the stuff that he's been saying. You guys are going to absolutely lose your mind when you see some of the stuff that he said. Chelsea Ultra, I watched the whole game and it was a relegation scrap to death. Potter is clueless, weak manager, weak mentality, weak team. Southampton are bottom with no manager. Potter out. Now check this out. I'm going to share something. This is what was said post-match. Potter, you have to see it for what it is. I hate when he talks like this. You have to see it for what it is, like talking like in a philosophical manner. Stop it, brother. Just be real with us. You have to see it for what it is. In terms of today, we had to make some changes because of the UCL and because of the suggestion we're in. Because of the suggestion we're in, I don't even understand what that means. Boys coming back from injury, when you make those changes, it can be difficult against the team that's well prepared. How are you going and praising Southampton for them being well prepared? It kind of looks like it does not put a good light on you, my man. Graham Potter, you saying that you came across a particular team that was well prepared makes you look very, very pathetic. Makes you look spineless. How are you praising a team that is 20th in the Premier League without a manager and they're well prepared than you? They are well prepared than you. If anything, you should be by a mile, be well prepared by them. And then you say you had to make changes because of the UCL. But there's a week off now. There's a week off. Are you actually saying to me that players like Thiago Silva, players like Reece James could not have played even 60 minutes? Or maybe potentially come off the bench? How is this? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? It's mad. It's actually mad. Praising an opposition team that has no manager and actually saying they're well prepared when you have this entire backroom staff, you have all these directors, you have the plethora of talent in your artillery. And you're coming up against a struggling Southampton. How could our owners accept this comment post-match? Like, if you're Todd Bowley and Baghdad Iqbali, how are you expecting this comment? This is where I feel, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to look at other comments as well. This is where I feel everything that we've lived for, everything that we knew about Chelsea Football Club, it's slowly disintegrating. Do you know what I mean? All the history, all the, the great moments, the achievements, we've forgotten how to win. Losing and dropping points, drawing is become a habit. 2 out of 15 now. I never imagined we could get 2 out of 15. I thought 2 out of 14, like that's bad enough. Against Southampton, we get the third, 3 out of 15. We start picking up the wins and then we move from there, hopefully build a momentum. But we've actually gone from 2 out of 14 to 2 out of 15. Like, it's crazy. It's actually crazy. There's a history, there's a culture. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of Obi Mikel that's floating around on Twitter. And the entire YouTube video that he has, there was a podcast with Obi Mikel. And The way John Obi Mikel was talking about his time at Chelsea and the caliber of players during that time, and the ego battle that would happen every single day. It's all disintegrated. It's all gone. It's finished. It's a different Chelsea now. It's lost all its identity. It's gone. You got to build from the base again. Everything that those legends have built with their blood and soul is gone, is finished. This is not the same Chelsea anymore. I've got no issues with our owners wanting to stick long with a particular manager, give them the time, this, that, the other. I've got no issues with that. You want to do that? That's great. Sounds fantastic as well, doesn't it? You want to give someone a long-term opportunity. To keep people motivated for a very long time is a hard task. It's a very hard task. And just because you might go through a process and just because you might go through a project, that it's all going to be seamless from there on. No, then comes the maintenance. It's like when a particular person goes to gym, okay? When a particular person starts working out and they really bulk up after 6 months, 12 months, they really start seeing the gains and they bulk up. They don't just stop working out after 12 months. They then maintain that quality. They then maintain that physique. They keep working hard. They keep continuing being motivated, and they find other different ways to get gains, to get even more fitter. Just because they followed a process, just because they trusted a project for the first 12 months, that after that I'm just gonna relax and everything is just gonna happen. No. The hard part is the sustenance. The hard part is to sustain that level of growth. It's not easy. Like it's great to think about, let's give someone 5 years and it's all going to work out. It doesn't work like that. We just stay patient for the first couple of years, go through the hard times, and then after we go through the hard times, after we go over the hill, it's going to be a blissful situation. No, from there, it's a different level. Pep Guardiola isn't a monster manager just because he went through the process. No, after the process, he worked even harder. So I've got no issues with our owners giving an opportunity to a particular manager long term. But give it to the right manager, man. You're spending so much money. It's just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, nearly 400 of you guys are live right now. Smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Smash the like button. Get those likes up to 200. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe as well. It's like this, ladies and gentlemen. Say, for example, you've got a bit of wealth. You've got a bit of money. And you want to build a house. You want to build a nice house for yourself. And you've got a bit of money. Are you going to give it to a particular rookie that's never built the kind of house that you wanted to build, but you just think that they have a potential? Or are you going to give it to the seasoned veteran that has built your dream house multiple times? It's a lot of money. You are willing to invest. You want to invest $2-3 million to build a house. You're going to give it to a rookie. You could make a loss. That money could just disintegrate. This is what we're doing. We're building a house with a particular manager that doesn't have the experience at this level to deal with that level of money. I'm actually thinking, do you know what? In January, had we bought Brighton level players that Potter has, recruited at Brighton, your Trossards and your Caicedos and, Salimash, I think maybe he would have done better. The fact that there's some egotistic players now, like there's players with, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, Like you've got players like Enzo who are world champions. You got players like João Felix, you know, who's a big player for Portugal. You got Mudryk, who's a big superstar for Ukraine. Now that you got these level of players, it's a different story for you. It's a bit difficult for you. Maybe you can just operate with your Solly Marshes and like players that are unknown. Maybe that's where you thrive. The elite level is not for everyone. It's not for everyone. Davis, thank you so much for the super sticker, my man. Really appreciate that. Point 44, Potter keeps talking about creating a new culture. Is Potter the man to be building that? He's got a losing mentality. We don't want that arrogant, in my opinion. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not impressed by what he says. Like, this is why I don't watch his press conferences. I can't connect. The only one time I felt like there was some level of connection was before the Dortmund game where he said, if you think I came from the bottom of the pits to Chelsea without being angry, then you don't know nothing about nothing. Like, I want him to be like that on a regular basis. I want him to be like that. He seems like, as I said in my review, he seems like a particular person. When you take your kids out to, your local club to play football and your kid is playing with other kids and you just tell your kid, look, it's not about the result. It's just about you having fun with other kids. Don't worry about the result. It's like that. I get the feeling like that with Graham Potter. He probably tells the players, don't worry. It's not about the results. Have fun. Make sure you have a lot of fun. At the end of the day, you want to be able to go home, tell your family, tell your partners, you had fun. The results not the matter. You got one life. That's life. I get that kind of vibe from him. Davis, thank you so much for the super chat. Potter needs to go. I don't think the players listen to him at all. Who do you want to replace him if he gets sacked? Look, Hansi Flick, Luis Enrique, Zinedine Zidane. Just get someone that knows at this highest level. Managers that have managed big clubs with high pressure, with quality players. Managers that demand some level of authority. Constantine, thank you so much for the super chat. TT's first game, we drew 0-0 versus Wolves, but we instantly saw an identity, tactic, and improvement. None of that. 5 months with Potter, 8 goals since October. It's mad. We don't score goals. We don't look like we have any type of ideology. And it's true. It's true. With Thomas Tuchel, when he first came in, you could just see it straight away from the get-go that there was something that was going on. Ladybird, really appreciate this generous super chat. Thank you so much. Would have loved a comment, but thank you so much for that. Some people are saying Poch. To be honest, he's known to develop players. We can't forget what Poch did with Southampton as well, and Spurs. But he's another one who seems like he's got that Spurs gene in him. Like can't seem to win. I really thought he was going to do well at PSG, and if he can't do well in PSG, there's a lot of big time players at Chelsea Football Club. So I don't know about Poch in regards to that. Chelsea Ultra Potter is clueless and spineless, and top players like Felix and Enzo will not stay long under Potter. We will lose these stars if we keep this manager. I don't know if this is true. Apparently, a few people have been saying that Enzo Fernandez, there were moments in the game where he was like, doing these, like stinking up the joint or something, or he was talking in Spanish and saying some stuff, and people were saying, I think he was just cussing and whatnot. And I felt like that because Enzo, he used to play with Messi, and now he's playing with certain players in midfield who I'm not going to name names. Obviously, he's going to feel like what's going on. The levels have dropped so much. Indefensible, Potter out, but we are going to question the owners. Our immature fans never blame them just because of the pounds spent. I've been skeptical on them from the summer. It's on them. Todd ruined us, to be honest. I mean, they've definitely made an error with the owner situation, but I, off the back of that January window and the way we really, conducted ourselves, it made me feel that, these guys are ambitious. It really did. It really did. And it still does. But they've made an error. They've made a big error with Graham Potter. And it's a massive financial error that they can't seem to come out of because it's a costly error. It's like the Lukaku situation with our previous owners. It's a costly error. We can't come out of that. Don't forget, if you think Graham Potter is a bit of an issue now, wait till you get Lukaku back, at the end of this season, and then what are you going to do? Because that is also a huge, huge financial error from us. Because the advantage of replacing Flick with Potter is that players will start developing more respect for him, as he's not only a sextuple winner, but also a World Cup winner as an assistant coach for Germany. Yeah, look, all of this stuff, it's not going to be easy because he's got a contract with the German national team as well. So you're going to have to break that. And I don't know if it's that easily, it means you're going to have to outlay more money. To get rid of Potter, you're going to have to pay him out first. You have to pay him out. And that's a lot of money. You're going to have to outlay at least 60 million. Don't forget, you've already outlaid 20 to 22 million to break his contract with Brighton. And now you're going to have to outlay further 60 million to pay him out. And then you're potentially going to have to break Hansi Flick's contract with Germany. God knows how much is that. And then on top of that, you've created a precedent now. You've created a precedent. You've given Graham Potter £12 million. £12 million per year. Hansi Flick's going to be like, well, if you're giving him 12 million, you want my services? I've actually done stuff at Bayern Munich. So you've created an insane precedent. Graham Potter apparently was on 1.75 million per year contract with Brighton. 1.75 million. And we've literally times that by 6 to bring him to Chelsea football. You could have doubled his income. You could have tripled his income. But the fact that you've times that by 6, every following manager is now going to ask for an arm and a leg now. You've created a bad precedent. This is what's happening with Mason Mount, because Mace saw what players were earning. Mace saw what Pulisic is on, or what Kepa's on, or what Havertz is on, or what Lukaku's on, and those players have not done crap for this football club. And then, obviously, Mason, with his CV, he's going to say, I've been Chelsea Player of the Season, this, that, the other. So you've created a bad precedent. Koulibaly is apparently on high wages as well. Point 44, TT was a tactical beast. There's a reason he took these bum players and beat Man City 3 times back-to-back. He just needed better players. All the tactics channels said this. Tactics channel said this. I've been agitated. Yeah, I mean, Thomas Tuchel's that first season, 3 back-to-back wins against Man City. That was sensational to see. Potter, the 3 times we've played City this season, it's just not been good. It's just not been good. Ladybird, once again, thank you so much for the super chat. Test. So what do we do? Do we bring an assistant coach to come and fix things? And this is the big money question, isn't it? What do we do? I think we just have to accept. We just have to accept and pray to God that it turns around. Nothing else can happen. Nothing else can happen. How can we now, we've brought in that mentality coach. Are we actually going to now bring in a coach for the coach? I mean, is that even possible? to bring in a manager for the manager. Now we just have to accept and pray. Every match day, take your moment, lock your rooms, connect with God, and put your two hands together and ask. And ask to the Lord above that this weekend does not get ruined. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Lock up the rooms, connect with God, find that place, connect with God, and ask, please give me something. Liz, tell us how can we force Bowley to sack Potter? Is there any way to do this, please? The only way, look, one of the biggest ways, the match-going fans, I think they've already started doing this. Once the match-going fans boo the living daylights out of you, you know it's over. You know it's over. So it's really up to the match-going fans. And then obviously social media, the more people start talking about this, the more people start putting out, Potter out, hashtag Potter out, and all that kind of stuff. Todd Bowley is someone who's in the social media world. He's definitely watching what everyone does. But it's the match-going fans, because you're there in the match. If they make it hostile, if they make a particular environment which is hard to live in, then I think the owners will have to make a change. Potter, I'm sure there are people out there who think I'm the problem. Of course. Of course. And you know what the crazy part is? This is what he says. Graham Potter, I'm sure there will be people out there that think I'm the problem. Absolutely. I don't think they're right. He actually goes on to say, I don't think they're right. Where's your humbleness, man? Look at the madness you did yesterday. There was no reason to start Azpilicueta. You could have easily started Chalobah. There's no reason for you to continue with Mason Mount. You could have still kept him on the bench. You buckled. You got scared. You did. You thought, okay, I dropped Mason Mount for a couple of games. If I just keep doing that, the English media is going to be on the back of me, and I might make the player very upset, and I might lose this situation where we're trying to get a contract extension, and I might lose this player elsewhere. You got scared. You buckled, and you picked Mount. No problems. You picked Mount, but why are you picking him at left wing? If you really, really are scared of Mason Mount, which you are, because if you weren't scared, then you would just leave him in the bench. In fact, now you probably shouldn't even have him in the squad. Mount, Gallagher, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, they should not be in the squad. It should be Chukwuemeka definitely needs to get in this squad. And since you're scared of Mount, then at least put him in midfield. Why are you putting him on left wing? Why do you have Conor Gallagher in the bench? Why is he even in the squad? How's Chukwuemeka not having at least Conor Gallagher's spot? Every time Chukwuemeka's come on, it looked like he was going to give something. Even in the wings, he looked very good. How can Oba, with all the lack of goals that we have, the issues that we have with goals, how are you persisting with Havertz? How you took off David Datra Fofana yesterday when he was probably the one particular player in the attacking side of things who was looking good? It's a mess. And for you to then say, I'm sure there will be people out there that think I'm the problem. Absolutely. I don't think they're right. You're actually going out there and telling us that we're stupid. But I'm not arrogant enough to say their opinion isn't worth articulating. No, you know what? You are. You just did it. It's when people say it's like this. It's when people say, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Oh, best believe you are trying to be disrespectful. You are. As soon as you hear people say, oh, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Oh, you are trying to be disrespectful. Yes, you are. 100% you're trying to be disrespectful. When you put that disclaimer, you know you are disrespectful. When you say these things, I don't think they're right, but I'm not arrogant. You having to put that disclaimer, you are arrogant. You are. You are, my man. Alhambra, thank you so much for the super chat. Still can't believe how bad the atmosphere yesterday was. Group chat of other season ticket holders still fuming. Going to be really, really bad if we lose to Spurs. Owners don't know what's coming. Yeah. Owners absolutely don't know what's coming. Still can't believe how bad the atmosphere yesterday was. Yeah. A lot of the match going fans have been saying this. A lot of the match going fans have been saying this. Let's check out furthermore what's going on in this news. Man, Advadia, stop spamming, man. I saw your comment, brother. Stop spamming the live chat, please. I get it. I get it. You want to stick around with Grandpa? That's fine, mate. That's okay. It's absolutely fine. I've got nothing against people that want to stick around with Grandpa. Kudos to you. Let us just convey our message how we feel. Means don't switch up later when we start flying like Arteta outers did with Arteta pal. Yeah, Arteta started flying after 3 seasons, mate. You want me to wait around for 3 seasons? Arteta went from 8th, 5th. He bottle jobbed top 4 last season. You think that's flying? You really think that's flying? And I hate how sometimes people compare, we should follow the Arsenal way. Why should we follow the Arsenal way? Why? Arteta didn't have the level of squad when he took over. Arteta never had João Felix. Arteta never had Sterling. Arteta never had Enzo Fernandez. Have a look at the team Arteta took over. It's 2 different stories. Why do we have to follow that? Arteta never had that level of players. Look at the plethora of quality that Graham Potter is able to get. Stop spamming, man. Stop. I'm keeping you in the live chat, but pretty sure the mods, please, if Advadia starts spamming, just time him out. I've got no issues with you commenting, but don't spam. You have something different to say, that's fine. Don't spam. Ladybird, thank you so much for the super chat. Was in awe of TT for his management of team and public in crisis. Expect the same management of players and public from GP. Will not happen. Out. Was in awe of TT for his management of the team in public and in crisis. Yeah, I mean, look at the way TT handled us through the sanctions and the ownership situation. Honestly, even through all that adversities, you just felt so connected with Thomas Tuchel, man. You just felt so connected. But you look at Potter, you can't connect. You just can't connect. When you lose, at least come into the press conference and give us something to hold on to, man. Give us some belief that, you know what, you are the right guy. You're not even doing that. Graham Potter on supporters' reaction being fair after a 1-0 defeat at home. Any criticism you get is understandable. We've had a tough period and are integrating young players into the Premier League. When results don't go your way, it's tough. It's such a cop-out, man. Young players into the Premier League. Some of these young players are damn good. Some of these young players are experienced, and it's not even the new players. New players, if anything, are actually good. It's the existing ones that are still stinking it up. And of course, the new players, every now and then, there might be the odd game where they don't play well. Like João Felix definitely didn't play well yesterday. Enzo Fernandez, from his standards, probably wasn't that same level. But I feel like these players, we're bringing their standards down. We're bringing their standards down because we had to compensate. All first half, we had to compensate because of the deficiencies we have on the right side with Azpilicueta and the deficiencies we had on the left side with Mason Mount. All game, all of these players had to compensate. It's like a domino effect. When you knock on a particular domino, it starts having effects everywhere. When you have a distinct deficiency on the right side with Azpilicueta, then you start seeing Madueke becoming a wingback. When you have a distinct deficiency on left wing with Mason Mount, then you start seeing Mason Mount going as a striker, and someone else is having to bear the hard news with David Duttro Fofana being subbed off at halftime. I wonder what David Duttro Fofana, what explanation he was given by Potter. I hope David Duttro Fofana goes up to Potter post-match. I hope he went and said, Gaffer, why'd you take me off? Can you please explain? Can you just tell me why you hooked me off when I felt great? I thought I was doing stuff through the middle. And apparently Graham Potter's only explanation for that was, I just wanted to bring in Raheem Sterling. No problems. You want to bring in Raheem Sterling. Why are you keeping Mount? You could have brought in Raheem Sterling for Mason Mount. Still could have kept David Duttro Fofana. You could have utilized Raheem Sterling on the right or Raheem Sterling on the left, Madueke on the right, and João Felix just behind. Who knows? Maybe David Duttro Fofana scores a goal. Balan, thanks so much for the super chat. Miz, we need a live video of Potts' replacement. It's just not going to happen. That's the issue. It's just not going to happen. Graham Potter's just going to stick around. I'm not arrogant enough to say that their opinion isn't worth articulating. My job is to help the team work through a team period. I don't even know what this guy's saying anymore, man. The truth is, we took a step back with our performance in the first half. Our response in the second half was good, but it wasn't enough. No, it wasn't. Our match in the second half was chaotic. Let's be honest. It was wild. It was just, people just panicking and passing, and then eventually it's falling into something. There was no structure. There was not a plan. And if anything, Southampton could have got a second goal as well. There was a lovely cross from, I can't remember who it was. If it wasn't for Kepa, Southampton could have had a second. It wasn't a great performance from us in the second half. It was chaotic. It's just us just throwing caution to the wind and hoping for the best. That's what happened in the second half. We should have scored, of course. Raheem Sterling should have scored, but there was no plan. There was no ideology behind the second half. There was no a proper blueprint that's been articulated in the second half. No. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, no change in Chelsea's boardroom. Potter is staying. This is from Matt Law. This was a couple of hours after. Hours after the match finished. So yeah, Graham Potter stays. Graham Potter stays, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the news, Miz. Which news? Which news do you want me to look? News about Chelsea. New absolute Chelsea tweet. Let's have a look. Smash the like button, guys. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Ben Chilwell on Southampton defeat. It's not good enough. We need to win these games. It's pretty flat dressing room at the moment. The only people that can turn it around is ourselves. He's being honest. This is what I want, man. I like Ben Chilwell, how he doesn't fluff around with it. He doesn't try and sugarcoat it. It's not good enough. We need these wins. We need to win these games. It's pretty flat in the dressing room. Like he's I appreciate honesty. I don't like when players come out and talk all this fluff. Oh, we are behind the manager. This, that. Like it all seemed like a PR stunt last week. All these players coming out in unison, like all of them all at once, talking about how they are backing the manager. Just come out and say the truth, man. If you really want to say something, say the truth. If you can't say anything, just shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and know your role and carry on with the program. Kepa Arrizabalaga, it's time to stick together and time to work. It's time to stick together, time to this, time to that. Enough with this sticking together, man. Just don't say anything. Just don't say anything and just go and do the work. Go and do the work. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap things up. Yeah. Let's have a look at CFC Balak's last comment and we'll wrap things up. Just realize how stupid the owners are. They've built this project all around Potter. It's all Potter's coaching staff, all his recruiting stuff. So now we have to sack the entire structure again. The thing is, we won't. And this is why they're hesitant. This is why they're hesitant. We're stuck. We are stuck. We're absolutely stuck. We'll see how this week materializes. This is going to be such a tough week. This is going to be a difficult week. Leading up to the Spurs game is going to be a difficult week. And let's see how we perform against Spurs. Let's see what Graham Potter does, how his selection is, what he does in game. Can he manage the atmosphere? Let's see what happens. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care. See ya. Catch you guys soon.